So guys, we're back, and today we have our Nintendo Switch right here, and we are going to do a Nintendo Switch reboxing. Before we get to that, if you're new to the channel, I just wanted to make sure that you remember to click the like button, subscribe down below, and turn on notifications so you see all our future videos first. Alright, so a Nintendo Switch reboxing is basically putting your Switch back in the box so it looks like new. As you can see, my Nintendo Switch is already reboxed right here with all my docs, my manuals. And in order to do this, you want to have as many packing materials and your original box as possible so that you can do this successfully and make it look as clean as possible. Now you may be wondering, why would I want to rebox my Switch? Well, for many reasons. First, if you are planning on selling your Nintendo Switch and you want to make it look clean and organized, obviously you may not tell them that it is a new Switch, because then that would be cheating. But it is for people that want to have their Nintendo Switch like new in the box, and it makes your selling look a lot cleaner and a lot more organized for anyone who wants to sell it. The second reason would be, if you haven't been using your Nintendo Switch very much, you would just want to put it away somewhere. Reboxing your Nintendo Switch is a great thing to do, to just set it aside for a week and come back to it at the full unboxing experience again, which is always a great thing. Alright, so we're gonna unrebox our Nintendo Switch and get started. Alright, so here we have it, our Nintendo Switch out of the box. You may notice that I do have gloves on right now. This is to prevent fingerprints or any sweat that you have or residue to come off on your Nintendo Switch and keep your screen and Joy-Cons as clean as possible. Cleanliness is a very, very important thing when you're reboxing it, and if you do not have any gloves, then washing your hands is also a good way to keep it clean. Now before we get started, you do want to make sure that you have all your game cards out of your Nintendo Switch. You do not want to give away all your game card slots or your SD cards that are located right there. So, now, to put in the Nintendo Switch itself, first, remove both of the Joy-Cons off the sides of your console, making it into your standard tablet mode. Make sure that you have some sort of cleaning or glasses wipe, and wipe down the screen until it is almost fully free of fingerprints. And you can also do this to the back and the sides as well. Then, if you have it, take this long plastic sleeve that you'd find in this white compartment when you first unboxed your Nintendo Switch, and slide it in, going from right to left. Once you've slid it in, you want to fold it on the right side of your console. So if you can see it, fold it this way. Just put it to the side for now. Now take any one of your Joy-Cons. I'm taking my red Joy-Con, my right Joy-Con right here, and take its sleeve. Now if you're not sure which sleeve, it does not really affect anything very much. Unless you're a customer, you know that they're going to be checking the numbers on the back. Now slide it in from bottom to top to make it look as clean and smooth as possible. Once you slid it in, just fold it on the bottom of the Joy-Con backward towards the back of the Joy-Con itself and put it to the side. We have our secondary left blue Joy-Con, unless you have any different colors such as the gray or limited edition Switches, and do the same thing. Now that you have both of your Joy-Cons and your Switch in the original wrappers, go get out your white compartment that is located right underneath you'll see it right underneath your Switch box. This is the first compartment you will see. That is what you need to get out. Now, take your Nintendo Switch console. Now, you can currently see it upside down, but this is where it opens up. And make sure that the power buttons, make sure your Nintendo Switch is fully powered off, and if you're selling it, reset, and slide it in toward the folding flap. This is a very tricky part when doing this. Now this is a very tricky part because there will be excess flaps that you want to push down toward your Joy-Con sliders or whatever they're called. Now push them down as you're inserting it. That way it doesn't leave flaps sticking out of your console. And then do it to the back as well. So push in those flaps and push in your Switch console. Keep in mind that this will be very difficult, and Nintendo made it that you will never be able to fully, perfectly place it in, just like it did originally when it was in the box, unless you try it very, very many times like I have. Also, your plastic may start to wrinkle as you put it in more and more times, so try your best to make it generally loose and not too hard. Now, getting out our first blue Joy-Con this side, it will be also pretty easy as long as you know that you're not putting it upside down, because there are cutouts for this kind of thing. The Joy-Cons are much easier than the Nintendo Switch console, and just fold it down and push them inside and try to smoothen it out as much as possible. Now, in case you haven't noticed, you do want your Switch barcode and this barcode right here to be lined up. That way you know which way to position your Nintendo Switch and your Joy-Cons. Also, if you want to be as clean and precise as possible, make sure to wipe your Joy-Cons, obviously not the plastic part, but the Joy-Cons themselves, before sliding them into the plastic holders, in case you haven't known. So then, we'll pop this one in. You have now completed the first part, the first layer of your Nintendo Switch reboxing. If you do not have the plastic parts that go on top of the Joy-Cons and Nintendo Switch, just place them down and it will still look relatively organized. Moving on to the second layer. Actually, now on part 2, we have just finished putting away the Nintendo Switch tablet and both of the Joy-Cons. And remember, if part 1 has already helped you, remember to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for future videos. Alright, we are now at the stage where we rebox our Nintendo Switch dock, our Joy-Con grip, our HDMI cable, our AC adapter, USB-C, and our 2 Joy-Con strap attachments. Okay, so starting off with our dock, you do want to get its foam cover and the bubble wrap. You'll know if it fits it just because it is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, foam and bubble wrap there is, and it'll be in some sort of square shape unless you didn't tear it apart. Now we are going to want to slide the dock in. As you can see, it's open this way. We're just going to want to slide it in. I'm not really sure it matters too much about which side it is, how we slide it in, because people won't normally check that it's slid in correctly. But I think I'm doing it the original packaged way. Now that it is fully slid in, we want to fold both of the corners inward slightly. So we're folding it, inserting the flaps, pushing them in like this. And then you take your bubble wrap. You want to make sure that the bubble wrap side is on top, just to make it as original and realistic as possible. And then, sorry guys, I keep messing up. What we really want to do is we want to make sure, as you can see, the line is right here for where the back of the dock is. And we want the flap to be underneath and the bubble wrap to be above it. And then you just slide it into the bubble wrap. This is the side that the flap is on. This is the side that the bubble wrap is on. So then you just want to kind of push in the foam. And then push in both of your flaps down. This is one of the things that I meant when I said Nintendo makes it really hard to put it in just like new. And let's get it back into our box. So here we have our box. We'll just take this and, again, push in the flap right here. You can see it. Fold the corners and lift up this flap of cardboard and push it into the dock. This is a pretty easy part. Alright, moving on to the Joy-Con grip. The Joy-Con grip is one of the easier parts of this reboxing. All you need to do is open up the smaller foam piece and slide your Joy-Con grip into it like so. Then close the flap. The grip part should be on the back toward the flap. And get your box out and put it, if you can see this kind of nudge, you want to put the back of the grip on it. That way it kind of leans toward you. For our Joy-Con grip straps, the single ones, we'll just slide them into their plastic piece and put them on the sides, which is right here and right here. I do not have my other Joy-Con plastic piece, so I'm just gonna put it in a generic small clear bag. Now that you've gotten to this point, you should have everything but the cables that go right here already reboxed. Since one cable goes underneath the other, we're just gonna make sure that we do this correctly and put the AC adapter in first. So you want to take this really long plastic piece and take your AC adapter. As you can see, I've already used this twisty thing that you can find everywhere, or if you kept yours, you can also use that. And there will be small indents that you can just loop around, or if you don't have them, you just loop it around and tie it up with the twist. And that way you'll have a kind of organized way to slide it into the plastic wrap. Alright, so head first, we're just gonna slide it in there, as you can see, and then fold it. So now that it is all in here, if you can see it, you just want to fold it, overlap it on each other, and it should not run into one another because of the way this bag is designed. And then if you have some excess at the end, you can just fold it again and put it into your box. Now for our Nintendo HDMI cable, you want to just kind of circle it around. You can do this on your hand or anything, around until it's about this, the same width as the bag, the plastic bag that you're going to slide it into. And then you'll just open up the bag and push it inside evenly like so. And once you've pushed it inside, just kind of fold the flap overlapping itself and push it in on top of your AC adapter. Do not put too much pressure though. And the final thing I forgot to mention was the AC adapter. Some models have their AC adapter that goes in the middle, but since there's an indent here and sometimes it bends it over time, you can just place it on the left hand or right hand side, depending on your choice. Then take your Nintendo Switch and Joy-Cons and just slide them in facing toward you until you kind of evenly pushed it, and close your lid. So there you have it. This has been the Nintendo Switch reboxing. It is now ready to go. It is very organized, looks new, and is ready to be sold or kept in your choice of what you're going to do with it. Make sure to not say this is new, because that would be cheating out your customer. And